Have you ever caught your own reflection and paused? Not because you were admiring a new hairstyle or checking your lipstick, but because something felt off. You didn't feel tired. You just come back from a walk, maybe coffee with a friend. But the woman staring back at you, she looked like she hadn't rested in days. I know that feeling. And I want to start this video by telling you something I wish more women heard more often. You are not alone in that moment. And no, it's not vanity to notice when your skin feels dull or your eyes don't sparkle like they used to. It's self-awareness. It's self-care. It's you still paying attention to you. I want to tell you a little story. Not too long ago, a woman I deeply admire, let's call her Susan, shared something quietly with me over tea. She said, "I still feel vibrant. I still feel alive, but I don't recognize the woman in the mirror anymore." And that broke my heart because Susan isn't alone. In fact, I've heard this story, or some version of it, from women in their 60s, 70s, even 80s. Women who have lived full, beautiful lives, who are active, wise, kind, and still growing, but who feel like their outer self no longer reflects the light they still carry inside. If this sounds familiar, then this video is for you, because today we're going to take a gentle but powerful look at what's really happening beneath the surface as we age. We'll talk about the hidden reasons your skin and hair may feel different, and what you can do to glow again. And I'll introduce you to 3 incredible nutrients, backed by science, that most women don't even know they're missing. These aren't miracle pills. They're just quiet little allies, ready to support you from the inside out. So make yourself a cup of tea, get cozy, and let's begin this journey, not back in time, but forward, into a more radiant, energized, and empowered version of you. It's often not a dramatic moment. No thunderclap, no breaking point. Just a quiet pause, a glance in the mirror that lingers a little longer than usual. You lean in, maybe to fix a stray eyelash, and suddenly you notice it. That something about your reflection feels unfamiliar. The glow you remember, faded. The sparkle in your eyes, dim just a bit. The energy, the you that's still alive and curious and full of life, isn't quite shining through the way it used to. I remember talking to a friend named Linda. She's 66, vibrant, funny, a woman who hosts dinner parties and still hikes every weekend. But one day she told me quietly, "I don't feel old. But when I see my face, it looks like someone pressed a fatigue filter on me. Not sad, not broken, just tired." And here's the truth no one really prepares us for. Aging doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow shift, like the tide pulling gently at the shoreline. Until one day you realize the woman you feel like inside and the one the world sees don't quite match anymore. But here's where the real beauty comes in. That moment, that mirror moment, doesn't have to be the start of decline. It can be the beginning of awakening, of tuning in, of saying, "Oh, wait, maybe I deserve more than just covering this up. Maybe I deserve to feel as good as I truly am." And that's not vanity. That's self-respect. That's you showing up for yourself, again, in this new chapter of life. So if you've ever looked in the mirror and wondered, when did I start looking so tired? Maybe the better question is, what does my body need so it can shine again? Because the truth is, tired-looking skin and eyes aren't always a sign of age. They're often a sign of depletion, of missing nutrients, missing rest, missing inner nourishment. And that is something we can do something about. In the next part of this journey, we're going to look beneath the surface, literally at what's happening inside your body as you age. Because once you understand that, you can care for yourself with kindness, intention, and real results. Let's take a closer look at the real science of aging skin. Here's something I've learned. Most of us were never really taught what aging actually is. Not in our bodies, and certainly not in our skin. We're shown creams for wrinkles, serums for dark spots, and told to just stay hydrated. But no one ever sits us down to explain what's really going on under the surface. So let's change that. Let's talk about the science. Gently, clearly, lovingly. Because knowledge isn't just power, it's peace. As we age, especially after 60, Our bodies go through a quiet but powerful transformation. One of the first big changes? A drop in collagen and elastin production. Now, collagen and elastin are like the scaffolding beneath your skin. They give it structure, bounce, and firmness. Imagine a freshly made bed with tight, fluffy pillows. That's young, collagen-rich skin. Now picture those pillows slowly losing their shape. That's what happens when collagen declines. It doesn't mean your skin is broken. It just means the support system is gently fading. Another shift? Your skin becomes thinner, not just on the surface, but all the way down through the layers. And thin skin doesn't hold on to moisture the way it used to. That's why many women say their face feels tight, dry, even itchy, especially in winter. It's not your moisturizer failing you, it's biology. And then there's something even fewer people talk about: circulation. After menopause, estrogen levels drop. And estrogen isn't just a hormone, it plays a huge role in keeping blood flowing to your skin. Less blood flow means fewer nutrients, less oxygen, and that's where dullness starts to set in. Not because you're aging badly, but because your skin is simply not getting fed. Let's not forget about the invisible culprits: free radicals. These are unstable molecules that build up in your body from things like stress, pollution, processed foods, even sunlight. When they're left unchecked, they attack your healthy cells like little sparks, damaging the very fabric of your skin. Over time, this leads to sagging, discoloration, and that general tired look. But here's the good news, and it's a big one. This process isn't destiny. Your body wants to repair itself. It wants to heal, glow, and renew. It just needs the right tools. Think of your skin like a garden. You can't expect roses to bloom if the soil is dry, the roots are neglected, and there's no sunshine. But if you nourish the ground with water, nutrients, and care, those flowers come back. And so does your glow. So now that we understand what's really happening as we age, the why behind the changes, we can finally stop blaming ourselves. You're not doing anything wrong. You're simply being human. And now that you know what your body is up against, it's time to give it a little backup. In the next part of this video, I'm going to introduce you to 3 vitamins that work quietly behind the scenes, ones that most women over 60 are missing. But that can make a truly radiant difference from the inside out. Let's meet them. Let me tell you about Susan. She's 67 years old, retired from her career as a school librarian, but still very much in love with life. She gardens. She bakes for her neighbors. She goes on walks with her friends. And every Sunday, she FaceTimes her 3 grandchildren. They're her heart. From the outside, everything looked perfectly in place. But one afternoon, as Susan was getting ready to meet a friend for lunch, she caught her reflection and paused. Her eyes, and once bright and expressive, seemed faded. Her skin looked dry, almost papery, even though she was using the same rich face cream she'd trusted for years. Her hair, always her pride, felt thinner, more fragile in her fingers. She didn't feel old. She didn't feel tired. But the woman looking back at her didn't seem to match the vibrant soul she felt inside. Now, Susan isn't someone who chases youth. She's never been one to obsess over aging. But in that quiet moment, she felt something many of us feel: disconnected from herself. So she did what so many of us do. She tried the trending serums. She bought the collagen drinks advertised on social media. She even treated herself to a facial for her birthday, a fancy one with steam and masks and promises. And nothing really changed. It wasn't until a chance coffee date with an old friend, a retired nutritionist, that everything shifted. As they sipped their tea and caught up on life, Susan casually mentioned how she'd been feeling. Fine on the inside, but faded on the outside. Her friend leaned in and said something simple, but powerful. "You're treating the outside, Susan, but the real change, it starts on the inside." That one sentence planted a seed. Her friend explained how, after 60, our bodies become less efficient at absorbing and using the nutrients that keep our skin, hair, and energy vibrant. She talked about certain key vitamins, ones that most women don't even realize they're missing. She recommended 3 in particular. And Susan, curious but not overly hopeful, decided to try them. No dramatic overhaul, just 2 capsules every morning with her tea. She didn't think much of it at first, but 6 weeks later, her walking buddy said, "Susan, you're glowing. Did you do something different?" Another neighbor asked if she'd switched moisturizers. Her daughter noticed it too, over FaceTime, and said, "Mom, your eyes look brighter." Susan hadn't changed her makeup. She hadn't changed her face cream. She had simply started giving her body the tools it needed to renew itself from the inside out. And here's the beautiful part. Susan didn't just look more radiant. She felt more radiant, more alive, more herself. Because when your body feels supported, your spirit shows through. And that's exactly what I want for you. Not a return to 30, not a magic pill, just a quiet, steady return to you. Your glow, your spark, your confidence. So what were those 3 little vitamins that helped Susan feel like herself again? Let's talk about them next. What they are, what they do, and why they might just be the missing piece in your own journey to radiant aging. You might be wondering, what were those 2 little capsules Susan started taking every morning? They weren't trendy powders or miracle potions. They were simply nutrients, ones her body had been quietly whispering for years, ones that many women over 60 don't even realize they're missing. Let me introduce you to them. Not as supplements, but as quiet allies, the kind that work in the background, restoring what time and stress have gently worn down. Vitamin K2, the unsung hero of skin elasticity. You've probably heard of vitamin K, maybe in the context of blood clotting, but vitamin K2 is a very different player. Think of it as a traffic director for calcium in your body. Instead of letting calcium build up in the wrong places, like your arteries or skin tissues, K2 helps send it to your bones where it belongs. Why does this matter for your skin? Because when calcium gets stuck in soft tissues, it contributes to stiffness, sagging, and a weathered look, especially around the eyes and mouth. Studies have shown that vitamin K2 may help improve skin firmness, circulation, and even reduce the depth of wrinkles over time. Susan had never even heard of K2 before her friend mentioned it, but after a few weeks of taking it, she noticed something subtle yet beautiful. Her skin didn't just feel softer, it felt alive, like blood was flowing freely again, nourishing her from the inside. You can find K2 in fermented foods like natto, a Japanese soybean dish, and in smaller amounts in cheese, egg yolks, and grass-fed butter. But for most women, food alone isn't enough, which is why many health practitioners recommend a supplement form called MK7, which stays active in the body longer. Astaxanthin, nature's internal sunscreen. I know it's a mouthful. Astaxanthin, pronounced astaxanthin. But this vibrant reddish-orange antioxidant is nothing short of a skin superhero. It's found naturally in wild-caught salmon, shrimp, and krill. And it's what gives flamingos their pink color. Really. But here's what makes astaxanthin truly remarkable. It's over 500 times stronger than vitamin E and more than 6,000 times stronger than vitamin C when it comes to neutralizing free radicals. Free radicals, as we talked about earlier, are like little sparks that damage your cells and speed up aging. Astaxanthin helps put out those sparks and protect your skin from within. In one 8-week study, women who took astaxanthin daily saw fewer fine lines and age spots, better skin hydration, and improved elasticity, especially around the delicate eye area. Susan called this her invisible glow vitamin because while she didn't notice a dramatic change overnight, she felt a shift. Her skin felt calmer, less reactive, more resilient to weather and stress. Most experts recommend 4 to 8 milligrams per day for skin benefits. You could get some from fish, but not enough for therapeutic results unless you're eating wild salmon daily. So again, supplementation is often the more practical path. Biotin, the building block of hair, skin, and nails. Biotin is a familiar name for many of us. It's often marketed for hair and nails, but what you may not know is how essential it becomes as we age. Biotin, also known as vitamin B7, plays a critical role in helping your body produce keratin, the structural protein that gives your hair strength, your nails' toughness, and your skin its smoothness. As we get older, our natural keratin production slows down. That's when you start to notice things like thinning hair, peeling nails, and skin that feels dry, flaky, or tired. Susan didn't expect much from this one, but she figured, why not? After about a month, she noticed fewer hairs in her brush. By week 6, she actually saw tiny new growth along her hairline. And even her manicurist asked, "What are you doing differently?" "Your nails are strong again." You can get biotin from foods like eggs, almonds, avocados, and sweet potatoes. But again, absorption declines with age, which makes a gentle daily supplement, often combined with other B vitamins or collagen, a smart choice. So let's recap. These are the 3 secret vitamins helping women like Susan reclaim their glow. 1. Vitamin K2 supports circulation, elasticity, and graceful aging. 2. Astaxanthin fights free radicals, deeply hydrates, and shields skin from within. 3. Biotin restores keratin production, strengthens hair and nails, and helps renew your skin. None of them are magic, but together, they quietly support the body's natural ability to heal, rebuild, and shine again. In the next part of this journey, we'll talk about how to help these vitamins do their job even better through simple, joyful daily habits that anyone can add to their routine. Because vitamins are like seeds, but to grow, they still need water, sunlight, and love. Let's talk about that next. There's a beautiful little truth I come back to often. Even the best seeds can't grow in dry, depleted soil. You can give your body the finest supplements, the purest vitamin K2, the most potent astaxanthin, the highest quality biotin. But if the soil isn't right, if your body isn't nourished in other ways, those vitamins won't bloom the way they could. Think of it this way. Vitamins are tools, not magic. They need the right environment to do their work. They need support, just like we do. And the good news? Creating that environment doesn't require a complete lifestyle overhaul. It just takes a few gentle daily habits, layered with intention. Let's walk through them together. 1. Stay gently hydrated. I know you've heard it 100 times, but water really is the foundation of glowing skin, not just for plumpness, but for nutrient transport. Your vitamins need water to travel through your bloodstream and reach your skin cells. Without enough hydration, even the best nutrients get stuck in transit. Susan started keeping a lovely glass pitcher on her kitchen counter, infused with lemon and mint. It reminded her to sip all day, not just chug in the morning. Simple, elegant, effective. Aim for 6 to 8 glasses of clean water daily. Herbal teas count too. 2. Soak in morning light. 10 minutes of morning sunshine can lift your mood, but it also stimulates vitamin D production, supports your hormones, and balances your sleep cycle. That matters more than you might think. When your sleep improves, your skin repairs better at night, your energy rises, and your cells become more responsive to nutrients. Susan began taking her morning tea by the window. Just 10 quiet minutes, soaking in the golden light. And over time, she said she slept deeper and woke up with brighter eyes. 3. Nourish with real food. No supplement can replace a colorful, nutrient-rich diet. Vitamins work better when they're surrounded by natural cofactors, things like enzymes, fats, and minerals that come from whole foods. Think leafy greens, bright berries, omega-3 rich fish, avocados, olive oil, nuts, and seeds. These aren't diet rules. They're love notes to your body. Food is not just fuel, it's communication. 4. Sleep like it's sacred. Your skin does its deepest healing and repair while you sleep. During deep rest, your body increases blood flow to the skin, rebuilds collagen, and clears away cellular waste. Susan used to think sleeping 5 to 6 hours was fine. Now she treats sleep like a sacred ritual. Soft lights, lavender tea, no screens before bed. And the difference? It's like my skin has a second shift working overnight, she says with a laugh. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of truly restful sleep. It's worth protecting. 5. Lower stress gently and daily. Chronic stress triggers cortisol, a hormone that breaks down collagen, disrupts hormones, and dulls the skin. But here's the hopeful part. Just 10 minutes a day of calm, breathing, stretching, prayer, journaling can shift your nervous system. Susan started each morning with 3 deep breaths and 1 quiet affirmation. I am worthy of care. That alone changed how she moved through her day. 6. Support from the outside in. Lastly, don't forget about your skincare. Not the 10-step kind, but the kindness-based kind. Use a gentle cleanser, a fragrance-free moisturizer, maybe a vitamin C serum or a hyaluronic acid to hold in hydration. But more than the products, it's the ritual, the daily act of saying, this is my time. A small shift, a big return. These aren't drastic changes. They're soft, nourishing shifts. Together, they create the perfect soil for your vitamins to bloom in. And before you know it, you begin to feel lighter. Your skin feels more alive. Your energy steadies. And your reflection begins to look like you again. Now that you know how to support these powerful nutrients, let's pause for a moment and look at some of the most common misconceptions that may have been holding you back. Because sometimes it's not just what we add, it's what we stop believing that sets us free. Let's gently clear away some myths in the next section. We live in a world that sells a lot of promises, especially to women, especially about beauty. Turn on the TV, open a magazine, scroll through social media, and you'll find 1,000 products whispering the same message. Fix this, hide that, erase those years. And somewhere along the way, we start to carry quiet beliefs. Things we think are true because we've heard them so many times. So today, let's gently challenge a few of those myths. Not to shame ourselves, but to free ourselves. Myth number 1. If I just find the right cream, everything will be fine. We've all done it. Bought the expensive moisturizer, the serum with gold flakes, the tiny jar that promised miracles in 7 days. And sure, skincare matters. But your skin isn't just a surface. It's an organ, living, breathing, renewing. And it needs to be cared for from the inside just as much as the outside. Creams can soothe, but real transformation, that comes from nutrients, sleep, hydration, and circulation. Susan once told me, I realized I was watering the leaves while the roots were dry. Exactly. Myth number 2, collagen supplements are all I need. Collagen is important. It gives your skin structure and bounce. But drinking collagen alone isn't the magic solution we're often led to believe. Why? Because your body needs certain nutrients, like vitamin C, zinc, biotin, to use that collagen properly. Without those cofactors, the collagen might just pass right through you. Think of it like having bricks but no cement. You need both to build anything that lasts. So if you're using collagen, that's great. Just make sure you're giving your body the full team it needs to actually rebuild. Myth number 3, how I age is mostly based on my genes. This one is sneaky and a little discouraging if you believe it, because it makes you feel like aging well is out of your hands. But science tells a different story. Yes, genetics matter, but your daily habits, your diet, your sleep, your stress levels, they play a far bigger role than most people realize. In fact, some studies suggest that lifestyle factors account for 70 to 80% of visible aging. That means you have so much more power than you think. Not to stop time, but to age with strength, glow, and intention. Myth number 4, it's too late for me to start now. Oh, this one breaks my heart because it keeps so many women from trying. But here's what I've seen over and over again. It's never too late. Your body is always listening. Your skin is always responding. Your cells are still renewing themselves right this very moment. Susan didn't start until she was 67, and 6 weeks later, people noticed. Not because she turned back the clock, but because she gave herself permission to care again. Let go to glow. The moment we stop chasing perfection and start embracing nourishment, support, and self-respect, something beautiful happens. We begin to glow, not because we're hiding age, but because we're honoring it. So let go of the myths. Let go of the guilt. Let go of the pressure to do it all perfectly. You're not here to be flawless. You're here to be you, fully, freely, and radiantly. And now that we've cleared away some of the noise, let's look ahead. Because there's a growing movement happening, a quiet revolution of women who are embracing their age with pride, joy, and confidence. They're not hiding. They're not shrinking. They're stepping into the light. And in the next part, I want to tell you why you are a part of that movement and how beautiful aging really begins with the stories we choose to believe. Let's explore that next. There's a quiet revolution happening. It's not on the front pages. It's not loud, but it's powerful. It's the woman in yoga class who's 72 and just started stretching for the first time. It's the grandmother on Instagram sharing her silver curls and morning smoothies. It's the friend who decided to go back to school or start painting or travel solo across Europe. These are women in their 60s, 70s, even 80s. And they are glowing, not because they're chasing youth, but because they're finally embracing themselves. Some people call it aging gracefully, but I think it's more than that. It's aging boldly, aging truthfully, aging with the full weight of wisdom and the lightness of letting go. And here's the beautiful truth. It's never too late to be part of this generation. Susan is glowing. Linda is glowing. You can glow too, not because of perfect skin or the right number on the scale, but because you finally decided to show up for yourself with kindness, curiosity, and care. You see, there's no expiration date on energy, on laughter, on style, on strength. You don't need to look like you're 30. You just need to feel like you, the real you, with all her fire, her softness, her stories, her strength. There's a reason women like Helen Mirren, Jane Fonda, Viola Davis, and so many others are being celebrated in their 60s and beyond. Not because they've defied aging, but because they've redefined it. They've stopped apologizing for being older. They've stopped hiding their lines. They've stopped trying to disappear. And instead, they've started living louder, loving deeper, and laughing harder. You don't have to be a celebrity to glow like that. You just have to choose to show up for yourself, to eat foods that fuel you, to sleep like it matters, to move your body with joy, to speak to yourself like someone you love, and yes, to nourish your skin, your hair, your nails, not from a place of pressure, but from a place of deserving. You are the glow generation, not because of your age, but because of your light, the one that's always been there, waiting for you to turn toward it. So whether you're 61 or 81, this is your time, not to go back, but to rise forward as radiant, confident, and empowered as you were always meant to be. And if you're wondering where to begin, you already have. With every sip of water, with every breath of morning air, with every kind thought toward your body, with every new habit, every small act of care, it's already happening. Now let's bring it all together. In our final section, I'll walk you through a simple, gentle action plan you can start today, a way to turn everything we've talked about into real change you can see and feel. Let's finish strong, together. Let's take a breath. You've just walked through science, stories, and soul. You've learned how aging affects your body. You've met Susan. You've discovered vitamins you probably never heard about before. You've even unlearned a few myths that didn't deserve space in your mind. And now, it's your turn. But don't worry, this isn't a challenge, it's an invitation, not to overhaul your life overnight, but to start gently with one step, one shift, one loving decision for yourself. Here's a place to begin. Pick just one new habit this week. Maybe it's adding a vitamin K 2 plus D3 supplement to your morning tea, drinking an extra glass of water each afternoon, walking for 10 minutes in the sunshine, saying one kind thing to yourself in the mirror, choosing a bedtime that gives you a full night's rest. Start there, and let that one decision be the soil for everything else to grow. Susan didn't change everything all at once. She just made one small shift. And 6 weeks later, people noticed. She noticed. Imagine what might happen for you In 6 weeks, 6 days, or even 6 mornings from now, if you simply chose to believe that you're worth the care, what if you made this your season of glow? Not for anyone else, not for a birthday or a reunion, but for you, to feel stronger in your body, brighter in your skin, more connected to the woman you already are and always have been. So tell me, what will you start with? Leave me a comment below. Let's cheer each other on. Because aging isn't something to fear. It's something we get to do. And when we do it together, with joy, with wisdom, and with care, it becomes one of the most powerful, beautiful journeys we'll ever take. If this video gave you a little hope or a little glow in your heart, I'd be so grateful if you gave it a thumbs up and maybe shared it with a friend who needs to hear this too. And don't forget to subscribe, because every week I'll be right here sharing stories, tools, and gentle guidance to help you feel strong, radiant, and deeply at home in your beautiful self. This is your time, and you're not alone. Let's glow together. Love.